Hey, this is Andra Stratton from Lipodystrophy United. You can listen to my chat with Sean and Kyle on episode 98. Until then, enjoy this episode by the Two Disabled Dudes.
Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. We believe life is about how we react. All right, welcome back to episode 101. Kyle, we stopped saying our episode numbers on purpose just in case, we gotta, change things up and post. But I am so excited that we have finally passed the 100 mark that I'm doing it again. 101.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
I feel like we set ourselves up like from the very beginning, right? We put the 001, and so we were setting ourselves up to get to triple digits, and now we're here. It feels awesome.
I feel like we deserve to be able to say out loud our episode numbers from time to time.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, with that, I'll remind everybody to go back to episode 100, listen to our interview with Jeremy Cowart. You have a little bit of time left to enter to win one of the 5 books. Kyle and I are giving away one of Jeremy's books. So go back to episode 100 and listen in for details. Kyle, what's new?
So, Sean, I have a story for you.
I always get nervous with your stories.
So on Race Across America, I think, a while ago, one of the episodes, we talked about the fact that you were zipping up your sleeping bag and punched yourself in the face, and you had to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Do I ever?
So the other night, I made dinner, and for some reason, I didn't even really cook a whole lot, but I was like moving a spatula from one side of my kitchen to the other, and I had it in my left hand, and for some reason my right hand hit it, and then it sprung back, and it hit me in the eyeball. And it was so terrible. It hurt so bad, man. And like a full on, this is a substantial spatula. It's plastic, so at least it wasn't metal, but it like unobstructed, like super fast went straight into my eyeball, and I could still see, but it hurt to open it. And so I felt like maybe it wasn't scratched, but it almost felt bruised or something. And I couldn't open my eye for an hour.
Wow.
And I thought of you in that moment. I was like, maybe I shouldn't give Sean so much crap.
For that one little bit.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm glad you didn't go poking your eye out and everything's going to be okay.
Anyway, that is my big story for the day.
Well, I'm glad things are okay.
We had so much fun in this interview, and I know everyone's going to enjoy it. So without delaying any longer, here is our interview with Dana and Alexis.
Well, here we are again, another exciting interview that I've really been looking forward to. Another individual or couple individuals we met at the Global Genes Rare Patient Advocacy Summit in 2019. In fact, Kyle, you and I were at the awards banquet or dinner ceremony, whatever they call it, where they were awarding their Champions of Hope. Right?
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe 10 or 12 people would get awarded this every year, something like that.
Right.
And
for different categories and stuff, yeah.
Exactly.
So we're sitting there having just a grand time at our table, and all of a sudden, this little girl, Dana, gets awarded a Champion of Hope.
Well, no, the first thing that happened is they brought a stool out, I think, to the podium, or the lectern. Yeah.
So this individual, Dana, gets awarded Champion of Hope, and then next thing you know, all the cameras and everything is on this little girl. She'll correct us in a minute, but I think she's somewhere around 10 years old. And she takes the stage, and what is so cool about the way she took the stage was her demeanor and her speech. She had written prepared notes, and she had jokes that had the whole place laughing. She had the whole place standing up at the end. So it was really only, I think, 3 or 4 minutes of a thank you speech, but it just really well spoken. And I remember you and I both looked at each other when she said thank you and walked off stage, and we both were like, we gotta have her.
Yeah, and then you immediately got up and went over.
Yeah, I'm like, well, we're gonna find her now. So we went through our table, and there I met really briefly Dana and her mom, Alexis, and they have agreed to be on the show with us today. So on the other end of the recording right now, listening to us ramble about this story is Dana and her mom, Alexis. Thanks so much for being on the show today. How are you guys?
We're good.
All right.
It's great to be here.
So the first voice, that was Dana, and then her mom, Alexis. So again, thank you guys for being here. We've been looking forward to this conversation. A little bit before they get into their story, part of the reason why Dana was awarded Champion of Hope and why we're having them on their show today is Dana and her family started this movement, if you will, called Cookies for Cures. And of course, we're going to hear from her momentarily. But basically, Dana and her friends and the family have gone on a mission to bake and sell cookies, all for the sake of increasing awareness and research and helping Dana's friends get through some tough times. So that's really what's put them on the forefront today, and what's got them on the show is some incredible baking they do.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I'm pretty sure you've tried some of their cookies, right? Because I know I did.
Yeah, and they were amazing. You know what? First of all, we got to get Dana in here, but there's so much between us already because they sent us each a package. And the first awesome thing was that the cardboard box, it wasn't just a cardboard box. It was all painted. And it said, yay, cookies on the side. Like, how awesome is that? And the cookies were really, really good, too. So,
yeah, let's talk about your branding, Dana. What, you painted the box. Or somebody painted the box?
Yeah, how does that work?
So, first we paint the box a light blue, and then we let it dry for a while, and then we write words on it. Like for Halloween, we drew little ghosts and wrote, "Ooh."
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Your commitment to your brand is undeniable. So great job.
Love it. So Dana, we want to hear your story. Can you tell our listeners how old you are and where you're from?
I'm 9 and I'll be 10 in April. And I'm from Boulder, Colorado.
Tell us why you started Cookies for Cures. How did this all get going? What did you want to do with it?
So when I was 7, I found out that my friend Mila had a rare disease called Batten, and it is always fatal. I was so sad, and I wanted to help her. So then me and my mom came up with this idea to bake cookies and to sell them to try to raise $1,000, which was so much money to try to help save her. And so we had a red wagon, and so we decided that we were going to fill it up with cookies, go around me and my friend's neighborhood, and sell cookies. My little brother, he was our money guy also. I would be talking to someone about our organization, and he would just walk right up and say, "Put your money in here," and he would be holding a little money envelope.
How do you say no to that?
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
And so, after 3 months of our Red Wagon sales, we reached our goal of $1,000. My mom asked me if I was done, but I wasn't done. Mila's mom told us that we should start a GoFundMe page, so we did, and people were inspired by us, and then our site went viral. We did tons of cookie pop-ups and lots of Red Wagon sales, and at the end of the year, we had raised $56,000.
Oh my
My
gosh.
goodness.
Wow.
That led to a cure for Mila's type of Batten. They called it
Oh,
Mila.
Oh.
that's amazing.
And
And
again, my mom
sorry, go ahead.
asked if I was done. And I said, "No way."
So
And so,
let's hang out right there for a second. When you talk about raising, okay, first of all, you bake some cookies and you raise $56,000. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Congratulations. That it gives me goosebumps. And after that, you said it led to some sort of treatment for Mila. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
well, I don't really understand what the treatment does.
Okay. I'm sure I probably wouldn't either. Trust me.
But maybe my mom knows.
What I know is that it is one of the first examples of truly personalized medicine where they were able to modify a gene expression that they think will. It appears to have stopped the progression of her disease, which is super exciting.
Wow.
So Dana and her friends got to be part of this absolutely groundbreaking research that happened in absolutely unheard of time that really is hopefully going to pave the way for a lot of new treatments for a lot of people with rare genetic diseases. And it seems to have worked. We see Mila every few weeks. We go over to her house, and she's pretty stable. She was having 30 seizures a day, and now she's down to, if she has a few, they're really short, but most days she doesn't have any.
Wow.
So it's really been amazing and a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you even you hearing you use the word unheard of. Everything about this story is unheard of. Yeah, that's so life-giving. I'm so glad that you guys A are doing what you're doing, and B that you got on the phone with us today to tell us all about it. So let's keep going.
So, Dana, real quick, how does that make you feel to know that you had a hand in helping cure a disease for your friend? Holy cow, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really happy. Probably when I found out that Mila's disease was no longer progressing, that was one of the happiest moments of my life.
And what does it, like, what do you do after that? Like, what does it make you want to do, and how do you carry that forward?
Well, I wanted to keep on helping other children. And so I had another friend, Ollie, who also had a rare disease called PAM. That's not fatal, and it really hurts my friend's brain, so I also want to help him. So now I've raised almost $40,000 for PAM.
Yeah.
For the Stanford PAM. And now they have a new postdoc researcher.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say they, who's they?
The Stanford PAMS Clinic.
So, just to make sure everybody heard that, Stanford. like Dana's efforts have helped fund a postdoc researcher at Stanford. How cool is that?
Yeah, I like it.
Well, Dana, you obviously have done some incredible things, and I'm confident that you still aren't done yet. Right?
Yeah.
Good.
So, Dana, how do you run a bake sale? And, how do the nuts and bolts of it? I mean, obviously, you guys, turn on the oven to 400 degrees, stick in the cookies, mix up the batter, all that stuff. But then how do your bake sales work?
Well, first of all, we don't even call them bake sales anymore. We don't sell
Seriously,
cookies.
Kyle.
We
On a bake sale.
exchange them for a donation.
Okay.
Oh, so you don't actually put a price on a cookie. You just say you could have this for whatever you want to give to PANS research, right?
Uh-huh.
What do we say?
We say, take what you want, leave what makes your heart feel good.
Oh.
That's good.
And people are like, here, just take it all, because...
I once got a $100 bill for one cookie.
Oh.
Wow.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, that's great. So, how many of these cookies do you eat in the process of making them and selling them?
I eat 0 cookies. Our rule is you can't eat any of the cookies until the cookie pop-up or red wagon sale is done. For the holidays, I think I only ate 5 or 10 of them.
Wow. It's kind of a big gap. Do you either of you know how many different types of cookies you make? Or, if you had to put a number on it, would you say you make 20 different types depending on the season or the effort? Or, because I know in my box it wasn't just chocolate chip. There were probably 8 or 10 different varieties.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump in here. So we have, Dana, how many families do we have now that help us bake?
We have 75.
Wow.
Give or take, yeah. So we're edging in on 100 families. We're getting there. And so depending on, the cookie pop-up and how many cookies we need, we'll have a bunch of different families bake. And we let them bake, whatever they want. We try and make sure there's a variety. So we have probably at least 24 different types of cookies that our families like to bake.
40 dozen, Mama.
Maybe.
40 dozen at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you remember how many cookies we've baked, your organization has baked total at this point?
Over 15,000, sorry.
Wow.
15,000 cookies? Oh, man. I'm getting hungry.
You said you were 7, now you're 9. So in just 2, I guess maybe a little more than 2 years, 15,000 cookies. That's a lot of work. When you meet a child or when you decide to take on a project, what are some of the big steps in getting it to a point where people are trading cookies for money or cookies for donations?
Well, first of all, you just have to start it.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with how do we pick a project, right? Like, because we have a new one starting too. Do you remember some of the things that we had to talk about?
Is this research-based?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it will be.
Right, because we fund research. That's important.
Nice.
We do not fund things that are not research. We look for diseases that children have.
Mm-hmm. And then we also look for a partner that we can work with, right? Because our organization, your organization, does not actually do any research. So we have to have someone to give the money to that can do the research. So maybe we could talk about the new project that Dana's starting, and she can kind of go over how that's all developing.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So at Global Genes, where I met you guys, I also met a new friend, Ben. Ben has a rare disease called spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a really nice, funny guy, and so I wanted to help him. And so we are going to be starting Cookies for SMA very, very soon, like any day now.
Yes. So GoFundMe page is already up.
Yep.
And who are we partnering with?
Cure SMA.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what our goal is?
$50,000.
Wow, that's
and what's
amazing.
Gonna happen?
And so we're funding half of a research grant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
With Cure SMA, Cookies for Cures is going to fund a $100,000 research grant that will target research aimed at older patients like Ben, who's 16, who have SMA. And so that's what our big project is for 2020.
Yep.
Well, that's really awesome. I love the idea of partnership, and because everyone's got a role, right? Those scientists, they're not out selling cookies, but that's not their job, right? Their job is to look in the microscope and come up with the good ideas. And your job, Dana, is to sell cookies to enable them to look into the microscope. And each job is really important, right? And one does not happen without the other. And so I really just love the idea of partnership and collaboration. It makes it all work.
Yeah, it does.
What is the hardest thing about running your organization and selling cookies?
Well, the hardest thing is seeing how your friends change. I knew Mila before she got Batten. She was sweet and bubbly, and she talked a lot. And now she can't talk. She's blind, and she can't walk by herself. And I also knew Ollie before he got Pam. He loved to play the drums, but now he can't do that anymore. He also used to talk about stuff when we played, and now he can barely talk. So research means a lot to those families. But research also means a lot to me. It gives me the hope that maybe I can get my friends back.
I feel like that's the probably a beautiful purpose in life, right? Helping your friends and doing everything you can to impact their life for the better. You're bringing tears to our eyes, and I'm so grateful that that you're committed to helping your friends, Dana. Thank you.
Yeah, I think part of the reason I have tears, and part of the reason I so respect what you're doing, is that when we see our friends, this happening to our friends, it can make us feel so defeated, I think. And the reaction a lot of times is one of sorrow or anger. But, geez, this is bad. No, but I think what you're showing is a whole lot of character and love. Because I don't know how much love is in fear and anger. But what you are doing is taking action because you love your friends. And I really, really respect that. What's the most rewarding thing about what you're doing with Cookies for Cures?
Well, watching those people get better. Like my friend Ben, he's taking new medicine, and now he's already a lot better. And Mila, I told you, her disease is no longer progressing. So, seeing improvements in your friends.
That's huge.
Is probably the most rewarding part.
Yeah. Amazing. So, what advice would you give for people who would like to make an impact and they maybe see their friends or themselves declining in health, and they want to get involved and make an impact? What advice would you give to them?
Well, you need to believe in yourself and never give up. But most of all, just start. I didn't know how big Cookies for Cures was going to be when I started baking cookies. Our first goal was $1,000, and that seemed impossible. Now we just hit $100,000. Our goal for 2020 is another $50,000, maybe more. And it's just because we kept on going.
Wow.
I love it. You're wiser than you probably realize. You basically gave two pieces of advice: believe in yourself and just start. Like that's more powerful than you might know, Dana. I love that you said both of those.
How do people get involved? Like, if somebody that doesn't live near Boulder, Colorado wants to bake cookies for Cookies for Cure, is that a thing that's possible?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I'm going to jump in. So one of our areas of growth that needs to happen probably in the upcoming week, so should be done soon, is that we're going to build out the webpage more to have information on how to host a bake sale, and we'll try and include some recipes and things like that. But yeah, anyone can have a bake sale. Anyone can contribute. The easiest thing to do if you wanted to do that would be to have the bake sale, and then any donations collected can just be put into the GoFundMe pages that we host. So that would be the simplest thing to do. But we have a webpage with an email, info@cookiesforcures with the number 4.com, and people can just reach out, and I'm always happy to talk to people and walk people through things.
Let's say Kyle decides he wants to help, so he's going to take on some cookies this weekend for whatever your next pop-up event is. Is there any kind of quality control standards you have that might boot Kyle's cookies out of the process? Like, what if Kyle burns all my cookies, and those are the ones I get in the mail?
Those might be the ones that I let Dana snack on.
Oh.
Got it.
All right.
You only send burned cookies to Sean, right? Nobody else.
Right.
You're right.
Right.
Awesome.
You know what? Dana, what does every cookie need to be baked with?
Hope, butter, and love.
Right. And so loved cookies rarely get burned.
That's good.
So we do have a sense of quality control. And we are actually working with an amazing legal team to actually try and codify that a bit. But they are all home baked, and we hope that the people who are, enjoying our cookies understand that they are all home baked. Many of them are baked with the loving hands of children who care so much about their friends with rare diseases. And so, as Dana said, we don't sell cookies. We accept donations and deliver cookies. But really what we're doing is we are inviting people to join in a movement to increase funding for research into childhood diseases. That's really what this organization does.
Well, you guys, Dana, you have an amazing story. We really appreciate you coming on. I hope that I'm not the only one who has totally lost it and started crying when I heard your story, because it's so amazing. Tears of joy for sure. We can't wait to continue watching what you do in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That was an amazing interview. We had so much fun with Dana. What awesome wisdom from a little girl, right?
Yeah.
She is so full of energy and wisdom. So, Sean, what do we got for thank you notes? Who do you have to thank this week?
It's that time. I'm actually going to thank my roommate. His name is Danny. We worked for the same company, but not in the same area, not same town, different towns even. So, totally different area. Anyway, he's been incredibly helpful with my injury. So he'll do whatever needs to be done around the house. Because as you know, in fact, I even made fun of you, I think, a long time ago. You were saying how difficult it is to take the garbage out while also trying to maneuver your manual wheelchair, right? Well, I know what that's like.
Yeah, how do you do it? Do you put it in your lap or squeeze it between your knees?
I don't do it.
Nice. That's even better.
I'll bug him or friends or whoever. So this thank you note is for my roommate Danny. Thanks, roomie. I appreciate you bringing groceries home with you whenever I need. Running to the store for milk isn't fun or easy right now. Also, thanks for always taking out the trash. So that's my...
Yeah, I do. That sounds like a good roommate.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
Nice.
All right, what about you?
My thank you note is for Randy Yipe. His son and daughter have FA, and they are an incredible family and a real high point in the FA community. So I say, Randy, thank you for your even keel and your constant energy. You teach me so much through stories about your family and your bike riding fails. You serve the FA community in big ways by raising funds, getting people excited, and just being you. Thank you for bringing 100% every time.
Nice.
This segment is our thank you notes that we're doing each week now. We believe that simply reflecting on the things that we're grateful for in life will help us live beyond the challenges and circumstances in our lives. And so we want to do that at the end of every episode, and there it was.
And we'll encourage you to do the same, whether it's a text or an email or a phone call. Find somebody in your life to express gratitude. I also want to remind everybody to check out our show notes. We will link some things that Cookies for Cures are doing. And I also want to encourage you, I've been following them on Instagram and Facebook, and they're very active, and they have a lot of fun stuff going on. So cookiesforcures_kids on Instagram. Check them out. And as always, keep living with urgency.
Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Find us online at twodisableddudes.com and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Special thanks to our friend and audio producer, Jake Tompkins.